The vast expanse of space crackled with tension. Humans, once the newcomers to the galactic stage, now found themselves at the center of a brewing storm. The year was 2457, and humanity's rapid expansion across the stars had not gone unnoticed. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of Starbase Alpha, Earth's primary orbital facility. Her eyes, dark and intense, scanned the sea of stars before her. Each pinprick of light could be hiding an alien fleet, waiting to strike. She sighed, her breath fogging the reinforced glass. "Admiral, the Council is ready for you," a young officer said, saluting crisply. Sarah nodded, straightening her uniform. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Let's hope they're ready for what I have to say." The Council chamber was a grand affair, with representatives from every major human colony world seated in a semicircle. Holographic displays flickered, showing the latest intelligence reports. Sarah took her place at the center, feeling the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "I won't sugarcoat this. We're on the brink of the biggest war humanity has ever faced." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Sarah tapped a control, and a galactic map sprang to life above them. Red dots appeared, representing alien fleets. There were hundreds of them. The Zarn Imperium to the galactic north, the Querel Hives to the south, and the Mercian Pride to the east. All of them are mobilizing. Sarah continued. "Our latest intelligence suggests they plan to attack within the month." Councillor Javier Rodriguez leaned forward, his face pale. "But why? We've done nothing to provoke them." Sarah's laugh was bitter. "We existed, Councillor. We expanded. We innovated. To them, we're a virus that needs to be contained before we grow too powerful." The chamber erupted in voices, fear and anger mixing in equal measure. Sarah let them vent for a moment before raising her hand for silence. "I know it seems hopeless," she said, her voice cutting through the din. "Their fleets outnumber ours 10 to 1. Their technology is more advanced in many areas, but we have something they don't." She paused, letting the tension build. "We have human ingenuity. We have the ability to think outside the box in ways that baffle our enemies." Sarah tapped her control again, and the image changed to show Earth's orbital shipyards. Dozens of half-built vessels hung in space, skeletal frames waiting to be filled. "Project Odysseus," she announced. "A new class of warship unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. It's risky, it's unconventional, and it might just save us all." Councillor Elena Petrov stood, her voice skeptical. "With all due respect, Admiral, one new ship class won't turn the tide against 3 alien armadas." Sarah's smile was razor-sharp. "You're right, Councillor. One won't. But what if I told you this ship could be the key to revolutionizing our entire fleet?" The room fell silent, all eyes on Sarah. She could feel the shift in the air, fear giving way to a fragile hope. "I can't go into details here," Sarah continued, "but I need your trust and your funding. Every credit, every resource we can spare needs to go into Project Odysseus. It's our only shot." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, slowly, Councillor Rodriguez stood. "I don't know about the rest of you," he said, his voice shaky but determined, "but I'd rather go down swinging than wait for the aliens to wipe us out. You have my vote, Admiral." One by one, the other councillors stood. Sarah felt a weight lift from her chest. It wasn't a guarantee of victory, but it was a start. As the meeting adjourned, Sarah made her way back to the viewport. The stars seemed different now, less threatening and more full of possibility. "We're coming for you," she whispered to the galaxy at large. "And we'll show you why you should never underestimate humanity." In the depths of space, unaware of the storm about to break, alien fleets continued their advance. They thought they knew what to expect from the humans. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Deep in the heart of Luna Base, Earth's oldest off-world colony, a lone figure hunched over a cluttered workbench. Dr. Leela Chen, her wild hair sticking up in all directions, muttered to herself as she tinkered with a strange device. The lab around her was a mess of papers, holographic displays, and half-finished inventions. A knock at the door made her jump. "Go away," she shouted. "I'm busy saving humanity." The door slid open anyway, revealing Admiral Sarah Chen. "Hello, sister," Sarah said with a wry smile. "Still as charming as ever, I see." Leela blinked, finally looking up from her work. "Sarah, what are you doing here? Don't tell me the stuffy military types finally decided to listen to me." Sarah's smile faded. "We're out of options, Leela. The aliens are coming, and we need your help." For the next hour, Sarah briefed her sister on the dire situation. Lila listened, her brilliant mind already racing with possibilities. "So," Lila said when Sarah finished, "you want me to design a superweapon, something to blow the aliens out of the sky?" Sarah shook her head. "We need more than that. We need a game changer, something they've never seen before." A manic grin spread across Leela's face. She darted to a locked cabinet, punched in a code, and pulled out a thick folder. "Oh, sister dear," she cackled, "do I have something for you?" Leela spread out diagrams and blueprints on her workbench. Sarah leaned in, her eyes widening as she tried to make sense of what she was seeing. What is this?" Sarah asked, pointing to what looked like a cross between a starship and a living creature. "This," Leila said proudly, "is Project Chimera. Part machine, part biological entity, a living starship." Sarah stared at her sister. "You can't be serious." "Oh, but I am." Lila's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Think about it. A ship that can heal itself, adapt to new situations, even evolve in response to threats. It's the ultimate survival machine." As Leela launched into a rapid-fire explanation of neural interfaces, biomechanical propulsion systems, and adaptive weapon arrays, Sarah's skepticism slowly gave way to hope. It was insane, yes, but it just might work. "The aliens won't know what hit them," Leela concluded, breathless. "They'll be expecting nuts and bolts, not flesh and blood." Sarah nodded slowly. "It's risky, untested, and exactly what we need. How soon can you have a prototype ready?" Leela's face fell. "That's the catch. I need resources, a lot of them, and a team of the best minds in biology, cybernetics, and xenotechnology." "Done," Sarah said without hesitation. "I'll pull every string I have. But Leela, this has to work. The fate of humanity depends on it." Leela's usual manic energy sobered for a moment. "I know, sis. I won't let you down." Over the next few weeks, Luna Base became a hive of activity. The best and brightest minds in the solar system were quietly transferred to Leela's lab. Resources poured in, officially marked for routine maintenance and upgrades. Not everyone was convinced. Many of the scientists and engineers thought Lila was crazy. Some even quit when they learned the full scope of the project. But as the prototype began to take shape, doubt turned to amazement. In her private quarters, Sarah received regular updates. The project was moving faster than anyone had dared hope, driven by Lila's relentless energy and brilliant insights. One night, as Sarah reviewed the latest progress report, her comm unit chimed. It was Leela, her face flushed with excitement. "Sarah, you need to come see this. It's alive." As Sarah hurried to the lab, her heart pounding, she allowed herself to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Maybe, just maybe, humanity had a chance after all. In the depths of Luna Base, behind layers of security and secrecy, something new was stirring. Part ship, part creature, it was humanity's last, best hope. And soon, it would be ready to face the stars. The massive construction bay of Luna Base hummed with activity. Hundreds of workers swarmed over the skeletal frame of what would become humanity's strangest warship. At the center of the chaos stood Dr. Leela Chen, barking orders and making rapid-fire adjustments to her designs. "No, no, no," she shouted, waving her arms at a team of engineers. "The neural pathways need to be organic. We're growing a brain here, not building a computer. Nearby, Admiral Sarah Chen watched with a mixture of awe and concern. The project was moving forward at an incredible pace, but it was unlike anything she had ever seen before. Dr. Yamanaka, Sarah called out to a nearby scientist. How's the biological systems integration coming along? The tired-looking man rubbed his eyes. It's challenging, Admiral. We're essentially trying to merge living tissue with starship-grade metals. The rejection issues alone are giving us headaches. As if on cue, an alarm blared from a nearby section of the ship. A group of medics rushed past, heading towards what looked like a pulsing organic mass attached to the ship's hull. Don't worry, Leela yelled cheerfully. That's just the ship's liver having a little tantrum. Growing pains, you know. Sarah raised an eyebrow. The ship has a liver. Leela grinned. Of course. How else do you expect it to process fuel and deal with toxins in space? Honestly, Sarah, keep up. As the sisters walked through the construction bay, the true scale of the project became apparent. What had started as a crazy idea was rapidly taking shape as a fusion of biology and technology never before seen. In one section, biotechnicians were cultivating vast sheets of what looked like muscle tissue, designed to serve as the ship's outer hull. Self-repairing armor, Leela explained proudly. Any damage, and it'll heal itself just like human skin. Further along, a team of neurologists were hunched over a pulsing mass of brain-like tissue. Holographic displays showed synapses firing in complex patterns. Is that the ship's brain? Sarah asked, her voice hushed. Leela nodded. The most advanced organic computer ever created. It'll be able to think, learn, and adapt faster than any AI we've ever built. As impressive as the progress was, it wasn't without its problems. In a secure area of the base, Sarah met with the project's security chief, Major Darius Khan. We've had 3 attempted infiltrations this week alone, Khan reported grimly. Someone out there is very interested in what we're building. Sarah's face hardened. Alien spies. Khan shook his head. Worse. Human. We think some of the other megacorps got wind of the project and want to steal the tech for themselves. Dan vultures, Sarah muttered. Increase security. We can't let word of this get out. Not yet. But despite their best efforts, rumors were spreading. Across the galaxy, alien intelligence agencies were buzzing with reports of a secret human weapon. Most dismissed it as desperate propaganda. A few, however, were worried. On the Zarn homeworld, High Commander Skthar reviewed the latest reports with growing concern. These humans, he gurgled to his advisors, they are crafty. We must not underestimate them. Back on Luna Base, the project entered its final phases. The ship, if it could be called that, was nearly complete. Its hull pulsed with life, veins of energy running through organic metallic alloys, banks of sensors, more akin to eyes and ears than traditional scanners, swiveled and twitched. As Leela made her final checks, she felt a tremor run through the ship. For a moment, just a moment, she could have sworn she felt a presence, curious, alive, and very much aware. Well, hello there, she whispered, placing a hand on the warm living hull. Welcome to the world. In her office, Sarah received the news she had been waiting for. Project Chimera is ready for its first trial run, Admiral, her aide reported. Sarah took a deep breath. This was it. Humanity's last, best hope was about to take flight, and the galaxy would never be the same. Inform the crew, she ordered. We launch in 24 hours. As the countdown began, no one, human or alien, could have predicted just how this strange, living ship would change the course of the war. The impossible had been built. Now it was time to see if it could save them all. The launch bay of Luna Base buzzed with nervous energy. Technicians scurried about, making last-minute checks on the strangest ship ever built by human hands. The vessel, officially named HFY Chimera, pulsed with an eerie organic light. Its hull rippled slightly, like the flank of a breathing animal. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the assembled crew, her face a mask of determination. "Today, we make history," she announced. "You are the bravest souls humanity has to offer, chosen to pilot a ship unlike any other. The fate of our species rests on your shoulders." Captain Zara Malik, the young officer chosen to command the Chimera, stepped forward. Her dark eyes sparkled with a mix of excitement and fear. "We won't let you down, Admiral," she said, saluting crisply. As the crew boarded the ship, Dr. Leila Chen made her final inspections. She placed a hand on the living hull, feeling a faint tremor beneath her palm. "Be good out there," she whispered, "and take care of my sister." The launch countdown began. As the massive doors of the bay slid open, revealing the star-studded blackness of space, the Chimera came to life. Its biomechanical systems hummed, muscles and metal working in perfect harmony. "Nervous?" Sarah asked, taking her place beside Zara on the bridge. The captain grinned, terrified, but in a good way. With a sound like a massive heartbeat, the Chimera pulsed. Then, defying all conventional laws of physics, it simply slipped into space. No roar of engines, no flash of thrusters. One moment it was there, the next it was gliding silently among the stars. "By all that's holy," whispered the ship's engineer, Lieutenant Ravi Patil. "It's like she's swimming through space." As they cleared lunar orbit, the real tests began. "All right, people," Zara called out. "Let's see what this beauty can do. Tactical, run through weapons checks. Engineering, let's push her to full speed." What happened next astonished even the ship's creators. As weapons systems came online, the Chimera's hull sprouted organic-looking turrets, each one a fusion of muscle and metal. When they fired, it was with streams of superheated plasma that moved like living things, twisting and turning in space. "Incredible," Sarah breathed. "They're like stellar jellyfish." But it was the ship's speed that truly defied belief. As Lieutenant Patil initiated the drive systems, the Chimera seemed to fold space around itself. Stars blurred, and suddenly they were halfway to Mars. "Impossible," Patil muttered, checking his readings. "We just moved at speeds that would tear any normal ship apart, but our structural integrity is at 100%. As the initial tests continued, something strange began to happen. The ship started to anticipate commands, reacting to situations faster than the crew could input orders. "Captain," called out the ship's AI specialist, Ensign Yuki Tanaka. "I'm detecting increased neural activity in the ship's central cortex. I think it's learning." Zara shared a look with Sarah. This was beyond anything they had expected. The Chimera wasn't just a ship, it was becoming a living, thinking entity. Suddenly, alarms blared. "Multiple contacts," shouted the tactical officer. "Alien ships, closing fast." Sarah's heart raced. They weren't supposed to encounter any hostile forces on this test run. "Battle stations," Zara ordered, her training kicking in. But before the crew could react, the Chimera moved on its own. It twisted in space, its living hull rippling with colors. The approaching alien ships suddenly found themselves tangled in what looked like giant, spaceborne tentacles. "What the hell?" Zara gasped. On the main view screen, they watched in awe as the Chimera effortlessly disabled the alien vessels, cocooning them in a web of biomechanical energy. As quickly as it had begun, the encounter was over. The alien ships drifted, powerless but undamaged. "It protected us," Sarah said softly. "Without being told, without any programming, it protected its crew." As they turned the ship back towards Luna Base, a sense of wonder and hope filled the bridge. They had set out to test a new weapon, but they had discovered something far more extraordinary. A new form of life, born from human ingenuity and the depths of space. The Chimera had passed its trial by fire. Now, as news of the encounter spread, both humanity and the alien races would have to grapple with the implications of this revolutionary creation. The age of conventional warfare was over. A new era had begun. The mood aboard the HSS Chimera was tense. Captain Zara Malik stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching alien armada. Hundreds of Zarn warships filled the screen, their sleek, predatory shapes a stark contrast to the organic curves of the Chimera. "Status report," Zara ordered, her voice steady despite the odds they faced. Lieutenant Ravi Patel's fingers danced over his console. "All systems green, Captain." "The Chimera seems eager." Zara nodded, understanding. Over the past weeks, the crew had grown accustomed to the ship's moods. Right now, she could feel a tremor of excitement pulsing through the deck beneath her feet. Admiral Sarah Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "Remember, Zara, your mission is to delay the Zarn fleet. Buy us time to evacuate the Proxima Centauri colonies. Don't try to be a hero." "Understood, Admiral," Zara replied. But as she closed the channel, she shared a knowing look with her crew. They all knew the Chimera was capable of much more than just delaying tactics. As the alien fleet drew closer, the Zarn High Commander, Scathar, observed the lone human ship with disdain. "These humans send a single vessel to face us. Their arrogance knows no bounds." His second-in-command, Vexcor, seemed less certain. "But sir, the reports from our scouts." Scathar waved a tentacle dismissively. "Fairy tales and human propaganda. No single ship can stand against the might of the Zarn Imperium. All ships, attack formation. Crush this human insect." As the Zarn fleet surged forward, the Chimera sprang into action. Its hull rippled, sprouting dozens of organic-looking weapon pods. But instead of firing traditional energy beams, the pods released swarms of what looked like glowing microscopic organisms. "What trickery is this?" Scathar bellowed as the swarms enveloped his ships. Alarms blared across the Zarn fleet as systems began to fail, their advanced technology overwhelmed by the Chimera's nanobiological weapons. On the Chimera's bridge, Ensign Yuki Tanaka's eyes widened in surprise. "Captain, the ship, it's improving the nanoswarms in real time, adapting them to counter Zarn defenses." Zara allowed herself a small smile. "Looks like our girl is full of surprises. Tactical, target their command ships. Let's see how they handle a little chaos." The Chimera moved with impossible grace, its biomechanical body twisting and flowing through space in ways that defied conventional physics. Zarn weapons fire seemed to slide off its hull, absorbed and repurposed by the living metal. As the battle raged, the Chimera unleashed more of its bizarre arsenal. Tendrils of living energy lashed out, ensnaring Zarn ships and draining their power. Pulsating orbs of quantum-entangled matter created localized areas of warped spacetime, trapping entire squadrons of enemy fighters. Aboard the Zarn flagship, panic was setting in. "Impossible." Scathar raged, his color changing from confident blue to alarmed red. No human technology could do this. Vexcor, watching the Chimera's fluid movements, had a sudden, chilling realization. "Sir, I don't think that ship is just technology. I think it's alive." As the tide of battle turned, the Chimera's actions became even more surprising. Instead of destroying the Zarn ships, it began to systematically disable them, using its nanoswarms to rewrite their computer systems and its energy tendrils to safely contain the alien crews. "Captain," Lieutenant Patel called out, his voice filled with awe. "I think the Chimera is trying to minimize casualties. It's not just fighting, it's problem-solving." Zara felt a surge of pride. Their ship wasn't just a weapon. It was becoming something more, something that could potentially bridge the gap between species. As the last Zarn ship fell silent, Admiral Chen's voice came through again, filled with disbelief. "Zara, how? The entire Zarn fleet neutralized?" Zara looked around her bridge, at her crew's faces shining with a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. She placed a hand on the warm, pulsing wall of the ship. "It wasn't just us, Admiral. The Chimera, She's more than we ever dreamed possible. As news of the battle spread across human space and beyond, the galaxy held its breath. The age of conventional warfare was over. A new power had emerged, one that fought not just with strength, but with intelligence, adaptability, and perhaps even compassion. The Chimera and its crew had won their first great victory, but as they looked out at the disabled Zarn fleet, they knew this was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, not just winning a war, but finding a way to forge peace in a galaxy forever changed by humanity's strangest creation. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Confederation buzzed with tension. Representatives from 100 alien races filled the room, their voices a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. At the center of it all stood Admiral Sarah Chen, facing the assembled delegates with a mix of pride and apprehension. "Order, order," boomed the voice of Xanthar, the ancient Palaxian who served as the Confederation's chief mediator. His crystalline body glimmered as he raised all four of his arms for silence. "We will hear the human explanation for this unprecedented event." Sarah took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Esteemed delegates of the Confederation, I come before you today to reveal the truth behind humanity's recent victory over the Zarn fleet." A holographic display flickered to life behind her, showing images of the HSS Chimera in action. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the chamber as the aliens witnessed the ship's impossible maneuvers and bizarre weaponry. "What you see is not merely a warship," Sarah continued. "The HSS Chimera is a new form of life, born from the fusion of human technology and bioengineering." The chamber erupted in chaos. Some delegates shouted accusations of forbidden research, while others demanded to know more. Xanthar's voice cut through the din. "Explain yourself, human. How did you create such an abomination?" Sarah's eyes flashed at the word abomination, but she kept her cool. "The Chimera is not an abomination, but a miracle of science and nature working in harmony. Allow me to introduce its creator." The hologram changed, showing the face of Dr. Leela Chen. The eccentric scientist grinned at the assembled aliens, her wild hair seeming to defy gravity. "Hello, everyone. Ready for a crash course in quantum biomechanics?" For the next hour, Leela explained the basics of the Chimera's creation, using simple analogies that even the most scientifically challenged delegates could grasp. She spoke of growing starship brains in labs, of melding living tissue with adaptive metals, of creating a nervous system that spanned an entire vessel. As understanding dawned, the mood in the chamber began to shift. Accusations gave way to curiosity, fear to wonder. Skathar, the Zarn commander who had faced the Chimera in battle, spoke up. "But how can you control such a being? Surely it must have a will of its own." This time, it was Captain Zora Malik who answered, her hologram appearing beside Leela's. "We don't control the Chimera," she said simply. "We work with her as partners. She's not just a ship, she's a member of our crew." To demonstrate, Zora asked the Chimera a question. The ship's response, a mixture of intuitive leaps and complex calculations, left the alien delegates stunned. This was no mere computer, but a thinking, feeling entity. As the presentation continued, the implications began to sink in. The Querelle hive mind was the first to grasp the potential. If this technology could be adapted, their representative buzzed, it could revolutionize space travel, terraform dead worlds, even heal sick planets. Other races chimed in, seeing possibilities in their own fields. The Mercian Pride envisioned bioships that could adapt to any environment. The Palaxians saw potential for deep space exploration beyond anything currently possible. But it was the words of Vexicor, the young Zarn scientist, that truly changed the tone of the meeting. "Esteemed colleagues," he said, his voice trembling with emotion, "we stand at a crossroads. We came here fearing a new weapon, but what the humans offer us is something far greater, a new way of thinking about life itself." As the chamber fell silent, contemplating Vexicor's words, Sarah stepped forward once more. "The Chimera was born out of our need to survive," she said softly. But in creating her, we've discovered a path that could lead us all to a brighter future. We extend our hand in friendship and cooperation. Will you take it?" For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, slowly, Xanthar raised one crystalline arm. "I believe," he said, his voice resonating through the chamber, "that we have much to discuss." As the council erupted into excited chatter, plans already being made for joint research projects and cultural exchanges, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Chimera had done more than win a battle. It had opened the door to a new era of galactic cooperation. Outside the council chamber, in orbit around the Confederation's capital world, the Chimera floated serenely. Its living hull pulsed with soft light, as if it too understood the magnitude of what had just transpired. The strangest warship in the galaxy had become a symbol of hope, a bridge between species, and a promise of wonders yet to come. 5 years had passed since the day humanity revealed the true nature of the HSS Chimera to the Galactic Confederation. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. On a newly terraformed planet at the edge of what was once contested space, representatives from every major galactic power gathered. The world, fittingly named Harmony, was a testament to what could be achieved when species worked together. Admiral Sarah Chen, now sporting a few more gray hairs, stood at the podium. Beside her floated Xanthar, his crystalline form glowing with pride. Behind them, an array of ships hung in the sky, each one a unique blend of technology and biology, inspired by the Chimera. "Friends, allies, fellow sentients," Sarah began, her voice carrying across the assembled crowd. "5 years ago, we stood on the brink of a war that would have torn our galaxy apart. Today, we stand united, reaching for the stars not with weapons, but with hope." A cheer went up from the crowd. Among them, Dr. Leela Chin grinned, her wild hair now streaked with silver. Next to her, Captain Zora Malik, now Ambassador Malik, nodded in approval. Xanthar's voice chimed in, resonating with joy. "The Chimera project has expanded beyond our wildest dreams. What began as one ship has blossomed into a fleet of unique vessels, each one a bridge between species." On cue, holographic displays lit up, showing the achievements of the past 5 years. Corel High ships, living vessels that could repair damaged ecosystems. Zarn exploration craft, capable of adapting to any environment. Mercian medical ships, using biotechnology to cure once incurable diseases. But the most impressive sight was the massive structure orbiting Harmony. A space station unlike any other. It pulsed with life, its vast corridors home to representatives from every known species. "The Chimera Station," Sarah explained, "is more than just our new headquarters. It's a living symbol of our unity, growing and adapting to meet the needs of all who call it home." As if on cue, a familiar shape glided into view. The original Chimera, now larger and even more extraordinary, took up position above the gathering. A wave of emotion swept through the crowd. For many, this was their first time seeing the ship that had changed everything. Zara stepped up to the podium. The Chimera was born out of humanity's desperate need to survive. But she taught us something far more important than how to win a war. She taught us how to live together, how to grow beyond our limitations. The ship pulsed in response, and suddenly, every communication device in the gathering came to life. The Chimera's voice, a blend of tones that somehow managed to sound both alien and familiar, addressed the crowd directly for the first time. "Greetings, fellow explorers," the ship said, its words translated instantly into every language. "Our journey together has only just begun. The universe is vast, full of wonders and challenges we have yet to imagine. But together, there is nothing we cannot achieve." A hush fell over the gathering, followed by a thunderous applause. Tears of joy were shed by humans and aliens alike. In that moment, the last barriers between species seemed to fall away. As the celebration continued, a small group gathered in a quiet corner. Sarah, Leela, Zara, Xanthar, Skathar, and representatives from other races raised glasses in a private toast. To the future, Sarah said softly. To understanding, added Xanthar. To life, in all its wonderful forms, Layla chimed in with a grin. As they looked out at the diverse crowd, at the ships in the sky, and at the living station that surrounded them, they felt a sense of awe. The galaxy had been on the brink of war, and now it stood at the threshold of a golden age. The strangest warship ever seen in galactic warfare had indeed changed everything. But not through destruction or conquest. The Chimera had shown them a better way. A path of cooperation, adaptation, and endless possibility. As night fell on Harmony, the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever before. For the sentient beings of the galaxy, it wasn't just the end of a conflict. It was the dawn of a new era of exploration, understanding, and growth. Together, they looked to the future, ready to face whatever wonders or challenges the universe had in store.